Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. Hope you can hear us okay. I've got myself, Miss Moylan. I'm the assistant head teacher for year 11 here, and Miss Sarwar, the head of upper school. And we're going to deliver the spring parent information evening just to give you some information about what's happening this half term respective to year 11. Thank you for sending your students back in fully equipped in the right mindset for this term. It's a really important term in terms of it's a short one, and then we're leading up to the March mock exam. So this term is what can make the most difference to students' grades and their outcomes, and it's where we see the kind of most leverage in terms of adding on a grade to their previous mock exams. So I'm going to pass over to Miss Sarwar. She's going to welcome you and give you some information about what we're going to cover tonight. Just a reminder of the year team, and this session is recorded. We will send the link out so you can access it again. We will share some kind of key documents as well that will be emailed out, so you will have a copy of those. So don't worry about kind of taking a picture or anything or writing things down. You will have access to these as well. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Moylan. So I'm going to basically talk about the year team again. So your team is going to stay as it is, that it was before. The head of year, Miss Banton, and she's supposed to be in here, but she has to go. There's a meeting, something kind of the, she has to go somewhere. She really wanted to be in here. Also, it's me, myself, Miss Sarwar, the head of year upper school, and Miss Moylan, the assistant head teacher, Miss Banga, the deputy head, Miss Preston, part of the achievement team, Miss Patrick, the career advisor, Mr. Rochford, the mentor, and Kelsey, the mentor. So this is our team, same team. Nothing has changed. Okay, so I'm going to go through with the key dates, okay? And first of all, but I will go through what we will cover in this presentation is the key dates for the year group, college application process, and what's happening next, parental support, code of conduct. Is Miss Moylan going to talk about mock exam information for March and student intranet? Miss Moylan is going to talk about. So I'm going to start with the key dates for the year group, okay? And the CAMNAT, the NCFE exams begin, okay? We have got quite busy January month where students will be doing their NCFE exams. So the first one is tomorrow. Sports study exam, BTEC, and it will be tomorrow starting at 9 a.m. and the students needs to be in school by 8 a.m. so we can do some breakfast revision in the dining room. And then on basically Wednesday, the music, recording.
Sorry, I should say Friday.
The Friday,
yeah. No, the music, yes.
The music.
Right. That's correct.
Yeah, okay. And then that will take place tomorrow. Enterprise and marketing exam will be on Friday, 12th of January, same time, 9 a.m. start, and students need to be here at 8 a.m. so we can do some breakfast revision. If there is any problem for the attendance, if the child is not well, can you please make sure that you let us know in advance, day before, or by 8 a.m. If the students are not here, we will be basically coming round and we will make sure the students attend the exam. BTEC IT exam is on 15th of January, and that is an afternoon exam. And then MFL speaking exams, Monday, 5th of February till 16th. That's the whole period that when they will be having their MFL speaking exams. And then March mock exams will start on beginning 26th of February till 8th of March. And then we will have the feedback fortnight like we had before, 11th of March. And then we also have GCSE food and nutrition exam, NEA, and that is that period of time where they're supposed to finish their NEA. Access and achievement parent drop-in for Key Stage 4 is Wednesday, 13th of March, and that will be the time after the mock exam, so it will be nice time for you to come and attend, and if you get any concerns, you can talk to the Access and Achievement team. E11 parent personal development morning will be on 25th of March, and also the parent information evening, the second one, and our last one is going to be on 26th of March. And then we will have end of term, 28th of March, and the class, then we're going to talk about the prom, and also we're going to talk about the leavers hoodies. Okay, so college application process, a lot of students coming and telling me that they have received the confirmation, or they have received the postcards, or they have received an email. The whole process has started. You need to be patient. Some of them will receive the information, some of them won't. They got so many applications to go through, and they are doing this on a regular basis. So be patient. If you're really concerned, you can email the college directly just to confirm whether they have received your application or where they are up to with your application. They don't mind. They do respond straight away, but you got to be patient about the whole process. Okay. If your student didn't manage to secure a place, just in case, I think by the end of Jan and beginning of February, you will find out whether they have offered you the place or conditional offer, or your child is on a waiting list. If you're not happy with their decision, you can appeal directly to the colleges through their appeal process. And you know, then again, if your child gets the results in August, still got a chance to go back and reapply, or go back and have the conversation and dialogue with them again. If you have any concerns regarding colleges, you have to communicate with the colleges directly, because after this, I can't, and I got no input how they perform, how they what's their the process is, and how they chose students, who they reject, who they don't. They're normally quite good. They explain really well on their letters. But if you're not happy with, but you can contact them directly. If you're struggling to contact with them, then you communicate with me, and then I will communicate with them on your behalf. Some colleges are still accepting applications online, Manchester and Trafford. Please make sure, and I've been going through with lots of students, and I heard again this morning, the students only applied for Xaverian and Loreto, nothing else. Please, please, please make sure that you have got a plan B and plan C. It's really important to secure the places in other colleges and other sixth forms, just in case if your child doesn't get the place, or you doesn't get the choice, and then you have got other option. It is important. So the online applications, please apply. You can apply. Trinity Sixth Form College, Powerswood, Didsbury High, William Hume, Manchester, Trafford, Connell, Salford colleges, all of them, they are still going through with the process. Okay, so this is what I think is my, probably just a 25 years of experience. This is a crucial time for your child. Really, really crucial time. I'm a parent myself. Miss Banton is parent herself, and she comes in and talk about what she's been doing with her child. I know, and if you got a child like mine, you know what you're doing. Are you revising? Yes, Mom, I know, I'm revising. You don't know what I'm doing. That kind of, you know, this is how they can push you back. They won't let you in, okay, unless you basically be part of, shall I close this? Sorry. Yeah, so yeah, okay. Can't hear us. Okay. And you need to be part of things. And if you look at the research, that shows that if the parents are involved with their child's revision, whether you know the topics or you don't know the topics, part of the planning, part of the revision timetable, or resources, or you know, make sure that when the child goes home, that the desk is clear, they got somewhere to do the homework. If you're involved, you can make that 80% difference, whether you know the content or not. And the school makes 20%. They are with us for 5 hours, okay? And they are with five different teachers in 5 different classes. So it is important that you make sure that you're part of this. The first thing you need to look at the revision timetable. There is still, excuse me, some struggle with the revision timetable. There is still some struggle with the planning, how they plan their revision. There's still some struggle with the active planning or active revision. and you need to be part of it. Discuss with them every day. They should be revising when they go home, 30 minutes of one subject, 30 minutes of another subject. Okay, what you're revising, tell me about it. They won't, just in case. You have to basically find the ways to get in. The other thing is attendance. Okay, I know there's a flu season. I know it's quite the cold going on. I'm suffering myself. But what I just suggest is make sure that your child attend school. Okay, there might be some days when the days are quite dark. They just maybe making an excuse, or maybe they can be not 100%. But this every single lesson counts. Every single minute counts. Okay, every single second counts in school, because what we're doing right now is business. We're teaching them the skills, we're teaching them everything. We're trying to finish our topics, we're trying to finish our curriculum. They need to attend, otherwise they will struggle with the content, with the exams, and with the revision. Okay, right. And how you can really make that difference is basically you're talking to them about the focus. You're talking to them about, okay, put your phone away, you need to do this, you need to do that, show me a time to. You're not talking about grades yet, because this is a bit early. Okay, you're creating the environment for learning. Make sure it's quiet, make sure that they feel motivated when they are learning, when they're doing some work. You're helping them to plan study, you're helping them with the time management. Okay, half an hour, less time to have a little bit of break. Let's have something to eat or something like that. Make sure you're there. Your presence is important for them. Positive talk, okay? Encouraging talk, okay? You are just like, I'm a science teacher, and I always say, oh, come on, you're a proton. You be positive like proton. Don't be like electron. And that kind of conversation you can have. Encourage them. Make sure they got positive mindset. I know that most of all is the food and drinks they're having. They are healthy. They're not having I got quite a few just say, oh, we started drinking Red Bull. No, this is not the right kind of the drinks you should be having. Okay, so look after them, because they need looking after. Okay, and have a positive talk. As I said before, remind them about of times so they've been succeeded. Okay, failures mean success. Remind them of what makes them special. Listen to them when they're feeling low. Put them back on track. Okay, and any self-doubt, okay, on difficult subjects, and that they need to focus on the journey. We're all in it. We are feeling the same way that you are feeling. Okay, we are basically watching them, like we are in lessons with them. We make sure that we keep them on track, and I would like to do the same thing at home. Okay, and the other thing is, I would like you to be familiar with these revision strategies. Okay, they're not all the time making revision cards, because that has become passive now. Okay, they need to be more active. Okay, but when they are using the revision techniques, they're making mnemonics, okay, revision cards, learning with pictures, or teach it. Okay, come on, you teach me this topic. Let's see how you teach me. That kind of learning. Applying learning is basically all about past papers. Okay, they need to start doing past papers, and you can keep the track on it. What did you get in your past paper? Okay, what let's go through with the mark scheme together. Okay, mind maps is another one they're using a lot, and the use of colors, shapes, and anything that they did, that's their learning strategies. But make sure that they're using the variety. Okay, one learning strategy, revision strategy won't work. There should be the variety of different strategy, and they make sure they mix and map. And you talk to them about, where's your revision card? Oh, where's your mind map? Oh, where is your past paper? Have you done the past paper? Let me see. They might don't show you, just like you become judgmental, but be positive about it. Okay. And now, Miss Moylan. Yeah. So over to you. Thank you.
Okay, so our key drive, which has been new for the students since they've come back from the Christmas holidays, we talked to them about our couch to not 5K, but the grade 5+. We've got 6 weeks of this term before we break off for 1 week half-term break, and then their March mocks begin. So we spoke to them about using this as an incentive to add a grade, at least a grade, onto their November college entry mock exams. And we want them to do it just like you would kind of adopt the Couch to 5K. You'd use milestones. So we want them to have achievable tasks, just to kind of break this up over the 6-week period. We want them to practice, so they need to keep moving to the next level. They need to focus on the more difficult aspects of their subjects and topics. And in terms of their performance, they really need to refine their revision technique. They've been through this process once, so they know what worked well for them last time in terms of revision strategies. And then they need to kind of hone those skills over this half term and really applying it to kind of assessment tasks, past paper questions, quizzing and self-testing to check and track their performance. Like you would do in the Couch to 5K, your performance would be a timed run, and that's what you'd be monitoring. In terms of their perspective, it would be a timed past paper or a timed exam question or a timed quiz, and seeing how much they have learned and remembered. Okay, so we also shared with the students kind of like the overview that takes them all the way to their exams, and there's not that many weeks left. This was kind of a bit of a shock, and the penny dropped for a few students. Mouths are open in assembly, and we've not got that long left. So spring 1 is a 6-week. We've got 6 weeks really until half term now, starting from Monday. Within that period, we've got obviously vocational subjects with exams starting tomorrow and on Monday, so lessons will be missed for that. We've got the MFL speaking exams in the last 2 weeks of half term, so students will need to be preparing for that each week up until the lead up of them, but also interleaving all their other subjects and preparing for the March mocks at the same time. Okay, they need to get out of their head that they've got like one goal and it's the next thing in front of them. They need to be thinking longer term and spreading that evenly across the whole curriculum. Spring 2 is a very short term. It's only 5 weeks, and we even lose the last Friday of school because it's a bank holiday. The first 2 weeks are their mock exams, so you know, I'll talk about them a bit later on, but they're kind of out the window. There's no lesson time or learning. They're sitting exams in their lesson time during those 2 weeks. Then they've got another week, and then if they do a vocational course or they've got a coursework aspect, that would come up in the last 2 weeks. So that's a very busy half term. So they kind of need to get the nitty gritty and the kind of the meat of all the subjects covered over this half term. And it's probably one of the most important half terms in terms of making a real difference to their grade. And then when we come back after Easter, the students have got 3 weeks of lesson time, and then the real GCSEs start at the start in the first week of May. So not that many weeks left, which is quite scary. So again, we need your support in guiding students through that, but also the realization that, you know, every day, every weekend, every evening counts, and that they need to be active, proactive, and doing something. So we shared with students last week in assembly that we wanted like these small milestones met by the Monday just gone yesterday. So we wanted them to have done some home study revision sessions, drafted a study timetable, and then completed at least one past paper practice question in terms of tracking their performance. We want them to get into the habit of this milestone, practice, performance, and adopt this technique each week to break down the bigger picture into smaller, more manageable chunks. We asked students in form time on Friday to reflect on this and kind of think about what were they given before Christmas in terms of homework and study tasks, had they done them, and to kind of use last weekend to really catch up so they're not chasing the tail all the time, so that they were up to date and the to-do list was checked off. So have a chat with them and ask them, where are they up to with their to-do list? Is all their homework complete? Because, yeah, we wanted them to have a rest and a break over half term, but 2.5 weeks, there was plenty of time for them to get their homework done and to start to do get in the mindset of doing some studying and some revision in preparation. So have a conversation. Are they up to date with all their homework tasks? And if not, those need to be actioned as soon as possible. We're going to focus on the performance side in terms of how students can refine their revision technique in terms of what they can do. And I'm going to talk to you about that in terms of the resources that we've got. But finally, we spoke to them about our memory model, and we speak to them about this all the time in terms of our approach to teaching and learning. in terms that we've got a sensory memory. If we pay attention to tasks, and that's in lessons, in paying attention to kind of the homework we're given, fully focus and deepen their learning, that information will go into their short-term memory, but be very quickly lost if it's not retrieved and rehearsed in a cyclical approach numerous times. So I've talked to them about that they need to revisit topics at least 5 times before it goes in their long-term memory. And it's their long-term memory that they will really draw on in their real exams in May, because they'll be drawing on information they learned back in year 9 that's been revisited in year 10 and revisited maybe a number of times then during their revision in year 11. So this is crucial that they go back and review their learning and the material in their subjects regularly, but also that they do the self-testing part as well. It's got to be hard, they've got to struggle with it, but the repetition is key. And if they can do that, they're more confident in their exam and they can draw on that information under exam conditions in kind of a stressful environment. So I've spoke to you about the March mock exams. They are 2 weeks of timetable mock exams in all subjects in the sports hall. The students are familiar with this from our college entry exams, which were in November. Students will receive the revision list this week, and it will be also emailed home to you tomorrow alongside the revision timetable as well, and also a pro forma for a study timetable, a blank copy. So you'll get the digital copies and the students will get hard copies in school. These need to be displayed up at home so that they're kind of like held to account in terms of what they're doing and how they're preparing for the March mocks. During the mock exam period, any SEND students that are entitled to access arrangements such as extra time readers or scribes, they will be provided with these as normal in the exam situation. And if you've got any queries about that, if you can email the Access and Achievement Department prior to the mock exams if you've got any questions about that. But by now, students should have made a study plan of what they will revise each day, at least for this week, and any specific topics, because we've kind of shared this information in terms of the milestones, the practice and performance in assembly. And if they've not, that conversation at home is crucial, because it's after school time where they're going to be doing the majority of this home study and preparation. So your support really is crucial with that, and also holding them to account, getting them to tick it off when they've done it, and feel that those short snippets of reward and success when they have action things on the to-do list. So they've seen this before. This is an example of the study timetable. We did this with them in autumn. So they will get a copy of this, and it will have each of the 6 weeks for the March mocks up until the March mocks starting from next week. So this week there's 6 school weeks, but from next week there's 6 actual weeks, including the half term. And they need to create weekly study timetables. They don't need to do it all in one go. I would suggest doing it on a week-by-week basis, because things need to be repeated. Some things don't take as much time, etc. So it needs to be amended, and it's kind of like a working document. They need to interleave the subjects so that they're not spending too much time on one. And they need to split it into kind of 1 hour study slots where they might spend 45 minutes and break that up into different elements in terms of mastering a topic, practicing the topic, and then assessing the topic, and then a short break in between each one, and then using a variety of study habits to mix things up. So they've learned revision skills in school in terms of using revision cards, mind maps, quizzing and self-testing, the Letner system, making Cornell notes, loads of strategies. And they will also have the ones that that have been productive for them the last time round, but not just using the same thing. We've talked to them about reading a revision guide is a poor use of time, and they're not going to absorb much from it. Same as highlighting or just making notes and highlighting. It needs to be active revision. So there has to be the element of, if they're making notes, are they then going to cover the notes up and see what they can remember from memory and put it in a mind map format? So, you know, have those conversations as well. If they say they're revising and they've just got a revision guide open, they've probably got the phone hidden behind it at the same time, and they're procrastinating more than revising. So, you know, really just don't take their first response, zone in and ask them actually what are they doing. And, you know, if you can keep the phone away from them, you know, learning without any distraction is going to be where they make the most progress. So students will have this. You can ask them about it. They're going to have a big A3 copy which has got all the weeks on both sides. So it's one sheet, it can be stuck up at home, and it's an active document that they should be going through, planning their week and ticking things off when they've covered them. Now on it, there's also before school sessions and there's after school sessions. So I'll share the plan for the revision for that, so they can populate things in there. I want them to not only just say they've gone to history, but what topic they covered, because then, you know, it's removing things off the huge to-do list and making it more manageable. We've talked to them about the weekends being allocated for deep revision. So as well as, you know, they might have other commitments at the weekend, but some time is dedicated to deep revision where they've got uninterrupted time. So there's no school day in the way to really delve into a topic and really try and master something. And it might be that they do that at home. It might be that they go to the local library, or central library is a really good place for, you know, quiet, distraction free and a change of scene, just to kind of mix things up throughout the week. If you've got any issues with the study timetables, etc., if you just get in contact with Miss Banton, and she can support with that as well. So our revision sessions for this half term, it's mostly the same, but there's been some additions and tweaks. Fortunately, in the morning, we've got a really full offer. And now I know that students have got a multitude of subjects and subjects on the same day, etc. But having these morning sessions opens up more room for after school for other subjects, because we want them to try and commit where they need to make the most gain, the subjects they find the most difficult, the subjects they're underachieving in, the subjects they didn't do well in their college entry exams, and prioritizing attending revision sessions for these subjects they need the most help with from an expert teacher. So every day of the week there's a morning revision session, and there's there's 2 subjects on each day. They're from 8 till 8:30, and some of them will now start to run till 8:50, so good 50 minutes of purposeful time in the morning. That will happen where teachers delivering them aren't form tutors, so they can give up an extra 20 minutes for a 50-minute purposeful session. We need students to arrive on time for these at 8 o'clock. They can come through main reception and just let them know that they're here for revision, and maximise that opportunity. And then after school, we've got revision on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. There's just one addition to Friday there. Media's been added on there as well. The sessions have started already. So from tomorrow, there is history on in the morning, and for triple science students, there's a chemistry session on in the morning at 8 o'clock. And then after school tomorrow, we've got maths, we've got media, food technology, and art. Okay, so those subjects will be on tomorrow. Form tutors are going to re-advertise this again tomorrow morning with students, and the timetable is up in their form rooms, so please encourage them to attend. I will send this home as well, so you will get a digital copy tomorrow. And then finally, we've got a new resource on MS Teams. So it's our student intranet. So students can access this via MS Teams. It's kind of a one-stop shop. It's got all the links to the digital platforms, and it's got I'm going to show you through. I'm going to log on now and model it through. It's got the college entry exam revision list that will be on there tomorrow. It's already got the timetable for the revision sessions on there. It's got the work that was set for the before the Christmas holidays. It's got past papers, so students can just click on that and find past papers for all their subjects. So I'm just going to attempt to share my screen now and show you around the student intranet site. Okay. Right, so this is a bit what it looks like. I'll show you in a minute how students can log on to it. So they will just go through MS Teams. I'll just have to move. We've got lights that automatically switch off. So students will log on to into MS Teams. I'll give you a reminder in a minute when I finish showing you through the website where they can access it from. But when they log on to it, it's got a reminder of our home study habits. If you scroll down, you've got access to all the platforms that we subscribe to. So Educate, which is a quizzing site, Quizlet, GCSE Pod, Sparks Math, Seneca. All of these sites have quizzing and self-marking quizzes on them for different topics. So in terms of the performance part of the Couch to Grade 5+, this is what students should be using to test that they've learned or understand or memorize certain topics. So this is where the kind of like active revision comes in, using these online websites, and they're familiar with digital technology. So, you know, they should be monopolizing off these websites that we subscribe to. They've all got logins for them, and they can be set work from the teachers on them. For example, I set my science class their homework on Educate, but students can log in there themselves and set, and it can set, and you can say, oh, I want to revise today. You can pick a topic, or it can do random based on your performance on previous quizzes, and it will set you a revision quiz. Seneca does the same, and you can go through the topics. GCSE Pod, there's videos with quizzes on, and you know, you can learn some new material and then self-test again on that. So students will have their own preferences, but you know, there's no reason why they can't use multiple either and cover all bases. So if you go down then and click on year 11, okay. Oh, not that bit. Okay, if you just scroll down then to year 11 exams, so I just need to replace the college entry exam information there with the March marks. So that will be on there from tomorrow. The timetable for the college entry exams, that's the old one. So the new one, once that's been put together, that will be on there, but that'll be in a few weeks. This tab here is for past papers. So if you click on there, and for example, so I teach science, so let's go in here, combined science higher, and there's all different past papers there. So they're coded, the students know how they're coded, but B1H is a B1 higher paper, MS means mark scheme, and then underneath it is the question paper. B1 higher, QP means question paper. So I could click on there, and then there's a past paper. Students don't need a printer, they don't need access to a printer. They could just write these, you know, do all of question 1, write them down on a scrap of paper, and then they could go back, open up the mark scheme, and then self-assess. And it's that instant feedback which is so important and crucial in developing the schema and embedding things into their long-term memory. They can download it as well and save them to their own devices. And that's for every subject as well. So all their subjects are in there. If they do triple science, they're at the bottom in a different folder. You know, go in anything here. So business studies, and they've got exam papers there. So they're labeled paper 1 or paper 2. Students will know the code. And some subjects have put mark schemes in there, and some haven't, but they can ask their teachers for them. That's fine. So if I go back, that's the past papers section of the year 11 part of this. The revision timetable is here. So this was a work set for the holidays that's in there. So if you click in there, there was some Christmas consolidation tasks. Students can access that there. And then lastly, we've got the revision timetable, which I've just showed you before, but there's a copy of that there. So you've got that for reference as well, just what days, which subjects are on. Okay. So in due course, that will have the revision lists, will appear here. Okay, so here for the March mock. So it just needs amending, so that will be on there tomorrow. And then the March mock exam table next to it will be updated in the next coming few weeks. We just need to look at the logistics of when and where students will sit then. But they're in that 2-week period after half term, and students should prepare accordingly for that. So all students need to do is they need to log on to MS Teams, access the Year 11 team, which they're all a member of, and then click the Home Study Student site, which is one of the tabs at the top, and then they can find past papers on there as well. Okay. On the student intranet site, there was the links to all these digital platforms, but again, you can just type them into Google. So GCSE Pod has got a self-testing element. They can test themselves when completing past papers or different topics, but it's the feedback that's really, it's really crucial. It tells them whether they've got it right, and also sometimes if they've got it wrong, then it will give them some feedback. Can you see the slide with GCSE Pod on? Just checking I've uploaded it properly. Okay, fab. Right, so on Seneca as well, they've got a new feature, which is exam prep. So that's highlighted just there. And they can do some exam questions, and it will give them feedback and mark on there as well. So ask them to look at Seneca. It's also got some mini mocks and practice questions, so students can revisit a topic and then straight after do a little mini mock or some practice questions, which will be self-marked. So it removes the waiting for someone to mark it for them, and then they can focus in on those areas that they've not done so well on. It's all linked, all the past papers. Again, there's another place where they can find past papers. So this is an example, I think, for business, and they've got them organised by year, so 2021, 2020, so they can access past papers on Seneca as well, and there will be mark schemes there as well. There's also a really lovely feature in terms of there's a video for each past paper that talks students through. So if you've got a student, you've got a child that is a bit like reluctant to even start this, even starting with one of these videos might be best, that they watch someone else complete the past paper in real time with model answers, and then they maybe make notes as they're watching it on the areas that they weren't so sure on. So that's kind of an efficient revision strategy for those that are very reluctant to revise or engage in any activity, but they would cover a lot of material in a short amount of time. So watching one of those videos and making notes would cover like a 1-hour revision session. So if they did that for every subject over the week, that's maybe 10 past papers completed. So we spoke to students about this week that they need to kind of have a plan. They need to they know when their March mocks are, and they need to be thinking about what they're doing each week in terms of studying for it. With their revision list tomorrow, they need to start putting those topics into their weekly planner over the next 6 weeks. They need to use different habits, and then finally, they definitely need to evaluate their performance by using this range of strategies in terms of self-testing, quizzing, past papers, to ensure that they can monitor and quality assure what has gone into their long-term memory, because that's what they will be drawing on in their real exam. So that's it from me. If there are any questions, I'll just stay on if anyone wants to ask any questions in the chat. But tomorrow you will receive 3 documents in an email. You'll receive the timetable for the revision sessions. You will receive the document that's got the revision topics for all of the March mock exams, and you'll receive the blank copy of the study timetable that students can kind of plan their weekly revision sessions, and students will receive these in hard copy. There's a question here from Sarah. Have students been given guidance on how many hours per week they should be aiming to revise for? Yeah, we've said to them about between 10 to 15 hours ideally a week. Now, obviously, revision sessions would count towards those. And, you know, there's opportunity to go above that as well. Obviously, we've said the weekend for deep revision, but they do need to be building in time to kind of, you know, relax. So on a Friday, we've kind of said, don't do any revision that evening, but pick it back up at the weekend. And then throughout the week, they need to be doing a couple of hours each night. So aiming for that 15-hour maximum a week would be ideal. Obviously, some students will do more than that, and some, you know, are far from that at the moment. So it's building them up to do it that keeps them motivated, engaged. Converged science students, they're revising just paper 2. So they've been told that they're sitting their 2 mock exams, they're only doing 2, is biology paper 2 and physics paper 2. They've been learning that content in lessons since September, and they're currently still learning it this week. So it's crucial that they're reviewing their classwork regularly and going over content they've learned since September. They will then sit their final mock exam, their chemistry 1 paper 2, just before we break up for Easter. But we didn't want to cram everything in now, so they're just going to do B2, biology paper 2 and physics paper 2. Separate science are doing a mock exam in all 3 sciences, so they'll sit 3, so they will have a chemistry 1, so they're a bit different because they have separate science teachers. So they're just a little bit different, but they have a different specification anyway. Any other questions? This is recorded, so we'll send the link out as well. Yeah, separate science are doing paper 2, so C2, P2 and B2, and they've been learning that material since September too. Okay, if there's no more questions, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for all the support so far with the students and getting them into the right place. We couldn't do this without you, as how I showed you before. It's 80% of what happens at home that, you know, really does make the difference. The homework isn't just revision, so they will have actual homework tasks that they need to do alongside the revision. The revision is the self-study bit, but all teachers are setting weekly homework in terms of directed tasks that students still need to be handing in. Okay, thanks very much, guys. Enjoy your evening.